All right, y'all. We live right now. All right. So you want to start with yours first?
Yeah. I definitely want to start off with mine first. Want to say, I guess everybody's having their little Easter gatherings, but obviously for the Goat James Kingdom, we have facts and we bring up real stuff. Last week, what's his name? Black Mamba told us to take some time out and go look up the NBA rules. Right, that was something he said. Go read the rule books, the referee rule book. Well, obviously, I didn't get a chance to read the rule book. I got a chance to pull up some rules that I thought that was significant and some rule changes that made the NBA what it is today. So, if you look at it right here, we all know Naismith, Dr. Naismith invented basketball in the late 1800s. But in 1937, the first basketball league started in the United States, and that was the National Basketball League. And in 46, you had the Basketball American Association. That's the official a league of the NBA because in 49 they merged. Um, so the NBA started 46, 47, but in reality it wasn't until 1949 the NBA was actually an official league. So they just took off from what the Basketball American Association was. But in 47 they banned the zone to create one-on-one defense and allow stars to shine and create rivalries. So from the beginning inception of NBA basketball, the zone was banned. They didn't allow it. It was something they got rid of. So after 49, the league starts, and in 1951 they had to widen the paint because of George Mikan. So George Mikan basically was too big, too strong, too athletic, too much. They had to widen the paint so that he wouldn't sit in the paint for too long. They already had a 3-second rule for offensive players since like the 30s or even before that. So you couldn't sit in the paint, so they just widened it so it was harder for him. And then in 56 they changed it from a trapezium type of shape where just the bottom part of the paint was wide to 12 feet, but the where the free throw line was at, it was still 6 feet. So they basically made it all 12 feet. So they made it a straight rectangle. And then in 64, because of Wilt Chamberlain, they went from 12 feet to 16 feet because he was too dominant. So those are the Mikan and Wilt Chamberlain rules that were added to the league. And then they increased the fouls from 4 to 5 in 1952. They added the pivot foot in 1956, which means you had to dribble the ball before lifting your second foot, your pivot foot. So that was a great rule. They also added hand checking in 76, which is when they merged with the ABA. Okay, so hand checking was instituted, which means now players can put their hands or their forearms on the offensive player with the ball. Before that, you couldn't do that. That was a foul. You couldn't do that at all. You had to play straight up defense. If you look at old style basketball, you'll see their hands are up. They're not really using their hands to play defense. In 1976, the NBA also started with free agency because Oscar Robertson sued the NBA, so they had to allow free agency. And then you move on in 77, they allowed the team to move the ball to half court on a pass in after a timeout. They instituted the three-point line in 79, which was taken from the ABA. They allowed three-point shooters who got fouled from the three-point attempt to get free throw attempts in 1994. They shortened the three-point line in 1995 to 97. They added a no charge area, which is that restriction zone that we see now in 97. And then they had illegal defense changes rules and added 3-second rule for defenses in 2001. And then in 2004, they officially allowed zone defense and they removed hand checking. So those are the rules in the NBA that I think are significant. The ones, like I said, I talked about it before with you, Brandon. The one that I thought was very important was obviously adding the 3-point line, getting rid of illegal defense, okay, and then and allowing the zone, and definitely getting rid of hand checking. That was a great rule. I think that the hand checking rule was definitely a stupid rule. It created the 80s style of basketball where people could push each other and hit each other with elbows because you were allowed to put your forearm and you can do stuff, and referees didn't have no objective rule to say what was what. Oh, here we go. So the hand checking rule, obviously, people love to talk about saying that hand checking was this and that. It created a lot of conflict on the basketball court. we can see why we always think the NBA was rigged, right? Because hand checking was very subjective. Referees would call it depending on who they wanted to call it on. But there's rules here that are definitely reasons to why we have the NBA that we have right now. So I think that a lot of these rule changes helped, and it definitely made the game a great game, and it's definitely going to be great from here on out, even with more rules changes if they stay sticking with allowing players to play with and use their talents, because all these rules are about how we can make our stars shine better or play better and create rivalries. That's what they wanted to do from the inception. So that's why they did all these rules. So
how do you feel about the NBA rules today?
I think they definitely had to change the rules. I didn't add that rule, that ticky-tack foul rule that Trae Young and Harden used to get away with, where they would like lift their arms up into the defender and get a shooting foul call. Or the jump in like Dwayne Wade used to do, where he would pump fake and jump into you because you was in the air. I'm glad they added a rule to take that away, because I thought that was really bad basketball. You know what I'm saying? That a lot of offensive players were getting away with too much. But as far as today's NBA, when you look at the fouls and how the game is played, I mean, it's really at its best. Like I tell people, the skill level's never been better. And at the end of the day, you got talent all over the NBA on both sides of the court. You got defenders, you got rebounders, you got guys that can do things that we would never even imagine 30, 40 years ago. So definitely the NBA rules are what they are. It's for entertainment. It's to make the game better. So I definitely think that some of these rules are good, and definitely adding the rules that I talked about made the NBA definitely what it is today.
All right, Dave. What's the thing about just the NBA rules, from the 70s to right now?
But when I was coming up, man, the rules were it wasn't so tic-tacky, man. It's like certain players had that advantage. True enough, like Michael Jordan had that advantage, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, but nobody like Magic. I mean, like Michael. But like now, the basketball now, I like it. I just love basketball, period. So it's evolving to a positionless type game now. So it's kind of hard to, like the flopping. I'm glad all that got straight. I don't like flopping, even though one of my favorite players do it the most. You know what I'm saying? But
who's that player?
LeBron.
Oh,
He's
okay.
a flopper, man. Yeah, he gonna flop. He gonna do it. You know what I'm saying? But I can't get mad at him for using the game against himself. You know what I'm saying? They done the same thing with smaller players years ago. So he's just flipping the script a little bit. You know what I'm saying? He want to be an actor when he retires. So hey, you know what I'm saying? But like it's cool, man. I mean, I watch the play-ins and stuff and all that stuff. So I mean, it's pretty cool, man. It's just not as aggressive. You know what I'm saying? Like back in the gap when Sean Kemp dunked on somebody, it was like you felt it through the TV. Like you dunked on this dude with Sean Kemp. You feel me? Like it was a different type of excitement. I was a power forward /3, you know what I'm saying? So that was my game. I like to dunk on people. That was what I love to do. So when I see somebody else like Sean Kemp doing it and they do it with reckless abandonment, I just, man, that's one thing about the game now I do respect. It's a whole lot more athletic. I'm talking about every position. It's a whole lot more athletic. Now, I can't say less or more defense because nobody can't hold nobody one-on-one. I'm just going to keep it real. Nobody can't hold nobody one-on-one. You're going to need some help. You know what I'm saying? Or you're going to get flew by. That's just how it's going to go. They made it like when AI and Kobe was going against each other, I think in the finals one year, and I think AI had 8 points or something like that. And they was like, yeah, Kobe did it. No, Kobe didn't. No. Kobe and 3 other Lakers did that. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
they had to throw Tyronn Lue on him. They threw everybody on him.
Bro.
But at that time though, when he scored them 8 points and when they finally put Kobe on him, they made it like Kobe was the the AI stopper. No.
Nah.
They kept on they were doubling him, tripling him. Hey, come on, man, Kobe, you probably held him 3 times that day by yourself.
They had Ron Harper on that Laker team, right? Didn't they have Ron Harper on that Laker team?
Yeah, they did.
They had Ron Harper.
Did.
They used several people on Iverson. They couldn't just stop Iverson with one person, like you say, 1-on-1. Yeah, you're not stopping.
You can't stop it, man. I mean, it's just facts, man. I mean, I don't give a damn how good you is defensively. I mean, you can stop somebody you probably smaller than or taller than, you know what I'm saying, depending on how your prowess is, but at the end of the day, no. You know what I'm saying?
Let me ask you something. Let me ask you something, right? You said, you know, when you watched Kemp and he was dunking and you felt like that was something that, you know, obviously you felt like you were doing. You know, you were younger then, right? Because by that time I was in my teens. So, you know, but do you think a kid watching Trae Young ball like the way he balled yesterday or the other day when he was hitting them half-court shots out of nowhere, you don't think a kid felt the same way as you felt watching Trae Young?
I say it like this here. It's different because of Steph Curry and smaller guards like Trae Young. I mean, Trae Young who can shoot the 3 like they do, man. It's a different game.
Yeah.
It's a shooter's game.
Yeah.
You know, when I came up, it was my favorite player ever is Hakeem Olajuwon. Point blank period. I don't think nobody better. I don't care what you say. You know what I'm saying? He the only player that was MVP, Finals MVP, and DYOP in the same year until Giannis did it, and he was weak as hell that year. He won all that shit. So, you know, I mean, excuse me, but you know.
Now you good, bro. You
I get emotional about
are you
my
driving,
boy
brother?
Hakeem,
Are you
man.
driving? Are you driving?
Yeah, I'm driving.
All right, let's get on breaking this
conversation.
Conversation.
Please drive safely, bro. Please drive safely.
Man, I'm good.
Okay. You can cuss you can cuss and be yourself, but please drive safely, man.
All right, Brick, what you got to say about, you know, the defenses, you know, since you've been watching to now?
You said about the
man, bro. I'm good.
Yeah.
You said about the defenses?
Yeah, since you've been watching it to now. Yeah,
and the rules.
Too. Yeah.
It ain't too.
I think in general defenses the fundamentals of what's allowed really has changed. Like, you know, the coaching styles. I think mostly I think now just the attention to defense isn't as much as it used to be. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. That was just to open up the offense a little bit more, because offense is what brings the fans. So as far as the NBA game goes, you know, in my opinion, the defense isn't the same. But I mean, if you look to college and AAU, they still hold a lot of those fundamentals and stick to defense a lot more heavy than they do in the NBA. So, and you kind of see it with look at Jordan Poole. I mean, you seen him over at Michigan, but you really didn't know that he was a lot better than he was. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
The NBA allowed his game to be able to come out a little bit more because it's more offensive oriented.
Mm-hmm. And with the right team as well. He's in the perfect team for him.
That definitely matters. He definitely matters what team you go to.
Because he has the third or fourth, the fifth defender on him. He don't really even have like their prime. You know, most teams' prime defender is not going to really be on Jordan Poole or even their second best player. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and he's that good too. That's the thing.
Yeah.
But he's good though.
Yeah, that's true.
Good.
But they all good. They all good. That's the thing about today's NBA, and that's why I wanted to talk about the rules, because
even the bench players.
That's what I'm saying. Because when you add the zone,
not all bench players though.
Not all, but they better than everybody we know.
They're more skilled than the older players. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Even though we call them trash sometimes.
Yeah.
I just look at the game as like now, like when I was coming up, I look at the game a little different. Like it was a different game, man. Now they cry a lot.
Yeah,
like these kids, I coach AAU ball, so I be really watching these kids, and my son play as well. So I be like, man, y'all some little girls, you know.
But
you know,
we gotta understand. Yeah, we gotta understand there was some rules in here that I couldn't put in, and one of the rules that because I put rules that basically affected the gameplay, right? But what you're talking about here, Dame, is more like the aggression is the emotions, because like they did take away you screaming in a player's face or you making certain gestures. You can't talk. Yeah, you can't talk to certain fans a certain way, and I kind of get it because that's more of a marketing thing than letting it be offensive or defensive thing. But but I get you because I think that does take away from the game that we saw from the 90s and the 80s.
Okay, like for example, look, like last night, right? When Carl Anthony Towns went through the lane, spun off John Morant and dunked that boy like he was a wild man and screamed that old boy. They gave him a tag.
Yeah. And if you get a certain amount of text, in a season, you get suspended.
Right. When you don't do that, man. You don't call that for that. You know what I'm saying? That was an emotional Kevin Garnett, Rasheed Wallace. You make emotional, passionate player type dunk. Yeah. Man, I ain't never saw Carl Anthony Towns play like that. And the bad part is
they ruled it out. So
then,
that's the things they ruled
out. One more
bad
thing though, and I bet against them. I bet against them to lose this series. But
I think that's a mistake. Taking the emotion out the game. That's what makes certain players great.
Yeah, but
what make them great. That's what make them great, man.
Yeah, but it was obviously a way to make the money that they make with the league, man. They gotta go global.
Man, come on, man.
You don't make that money regardless. These are the rules that they make. I mean, it depends.
You gonna make that money regardless. You gonna make it regardless.
Because when they added those rules, it was because of the
ain't making no more or less money. They ain't making no more or less money than they made 20 years ago, brother.
Yes, they
was. No, they not, brother. Go Google it.
Go Google it. Go to 2004 after the melee. The NBA lost a lot of sponsorship. That's losing money.
This is 2022. Y'all know you count well.
Because they had to change the rules. That's when they started changing those rules.
Man, look, you know what? You're right. Like I say, look.
After the melee, things changed. That's
what it was, and it was because of that.
The change, but you can't take the emotion away from a bat. That's like when you lose an emotional player from your team. For example, when Draymond Green got kicked out against Cleveland that year, man, come on, man, that changed the whole series. I won, but that changed the whole series.
He was known for kicking people, man. He can't be throwing his leg up like that.
Look, man, stop all that, man. Stop, man. You sound like you what? You know what?
Well,
you know what? Everybody wasn't the type of basketball player that could play basketball.
Well,
you know what? Just shoot.
You know what?
I'm just saying, brother. I'm not.
Okay.
I'm just saying, every basketball player is not built the same. You feel me?
Brandon,
and like when you from the East Coast and the West Coast, y'all built different from a Southern basketball player, man. I'm gonna keep it real. Y'all built different. Y'all built different.
All right, well,
I'm 42. I'm just saying, y'all basketball games is different. It's like y'all good at two things.
I'm 40 years old. You talking to somebody from your generation. You're not talking to
okay, then. What you mean? I'm saying that's what I'm trying to tell you, Pimp. Listen to me. Listen. And stop listening to argue, bro. Come on, man. That was sweet,
y'all done got him in his emo bag now. He feeling it. He bringing that passion.
He tripping though. That lets you know he wasn't that type of basketball player, man.
But you got to understand
man.
These are billionaires. They're not worried about you and your passion, love, and self. They don't care about that.
Look, bro. I'm talking about. That's what I hate about people like what you just that statement right there pisses me off so much. Yeah, they worried about people like me. I'm the motherfucker buying their shoes, buying their apparel, buying all the stuff they gonna make them a billionaire. Yeah, they worried about me, Bill. Have you lost your mind?
Concerned about it going
They're not concerned. They're not concerned about you as a person, man. They want your dollar.
They're concerned about my money. If I got money, that's all I care about. Getting what the hell I want. Point blank, period.
And they a billionaire. They obviously get what they want.
And the demographic that spend more money, the demographic that spend more money than you is not you, and that's who they care about. They don't care about you and your money. Your money's not as much as the demographic that they care about. That's what you understand.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is, bro. Yeah.
You
know what I'm gonna say is this. No, what I'm saying is this here. As far as me, all us, yeah, they care about our money. They don't gotta care about me individually. I don't give a damn about them individually. I don't know the owners of those things.
In the palace was nothing to them. It was something. That's what I'm trying to tell you. They lost money because of that. That's how they lose. As a matter of fact, and look, and the whole thing with Draymond Green, and the whole thing with Draymond Green is funny because I forgot to add. In 1991 they added flagrant fouls to the NBA. And the reason they added flagrant fouls was for Michael Jordan. So I forgot to add that rule in there. And that's how the NBA got to being as soft and unaggressive as claiming here. Brandon, can you mute him, man, so we can talk, man? Because he's just yelling and screaming, bro. It's not like a conversation no more.
Yeah, it really ain't.
Yeah.
All right. So look,
the NBA, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's just basically what it is. Like, they changed the rules to make it more global. Not what we feel is the best. Like, we don't really like how they're calling the fouls today, but that has nothing to do with us.
Right. Yeah, but they call less fouls today than they called when the league was aggressive. That's what I'm trying to explain. So, how did
actually the EuroLeague, they don't call fouls that much from where Luka and them come from. Yeah, that's why Luka's so successful because
that's why we struggled in the Olympics. Yeah, because they're not calling fouls and our players are playing.
No, they're not calling. They're not. But that's why the NBA changed those rules. But that's why the NBA changed those rules recently. So you got to change. You got to change certain rules to make things happen. But the things that people complain about, it all started in '91, and it really started in '76 when you add the hand checking rule. Because before that, you couldn't touch a player. You couldn't put your hands on a player. You couldn't put your forearms on a player, whether they were in the post or whether they were in the perimeter. So they allowed players in '76 to literally push people, put their elbows on people, which led to the elbows, which led to the pushing, which led to the fights, which led to the league that we thought was great, but it wasn't good for business, especially after what happened in Detroit. Now you got fans feeling that they can be as aggressive as players, and now they throwing things at players on the court, and now you got players that are not gonna take it no more. I'm a millionaire. This is not 1985, me making $10,000 a year playing no more, bro. I'm making millions of dollars. You see what I'm saying? So it got to change. It had to change.
That's a different dynamic, though. A lot of those players had to go through being able to be hand checked and the forearm in your back.
Yeah, it was. It was a crazy dynamic.
And coming from, I'm 42. I'll be 41. So coming up playing and stuff. I mean, especially street ball. I mean, that's how we played. You got pushed. You definitely got elbowed. You got knocked to the ground, and you better get up and you better keep playing. That's the way we was taught. You know what I mean?
That started in '76 though, because when you played basketball before '76, you couldn't do that even in street ball.
No, I'm not talking about. Well, if you go back,
I'm saying if you go back, right?
Bro, if you go back, serious?
If you go back and look at the Rucker Park games, right, from the 60s.
Come on, man. Y'all stop gauging everything from.
All of us are from the same generation. We all started playing basketball in the 80s. Am I correct?
Facts.
Okay, right. We all started playing basketball in the 80s. None of us played basketball before 1976. Am I correct?
Look, bro.
Am I correct by saying that?
None of us was even born in 76. That's not the point, though.
And matter of fact, to bring it to add to my point, what I'm trying to bring up.
So why are we talking about 76 if you don't know for sure?
Because we're talking about when they added hand checking. We're talking about when they added hand checking, which allowed people to use their hands and their elbows.
But you using the Rucker Park though, like.
But that's what I'm saying. Those were the rules of
each other. They done all that, bro.
But those were the rules of basketball back then. You couldn't put your hands or your elbows on people.
Did it, though. You're not gonna call 1,000 fouls a game, bro.
And listen, when you talk about the rules that the NBA instituted, it wasn't rules that were elsewhere. We just said how the international played different. These are the rules that the NBA added for the NBA. You see what I'm trying to say? So it's not about necessarily what you're saying as far as like in the street ball, you couldn't push people in the street ball. That led to fights too. You got elbowed or somewhere, you were fighting like that. Like you didn't just push and elbowed anybody whenever you want on the basketball court. The point of put like this: when Wilt Chamberlain was asked about Shaquille O'Neal's dominance in the mid '90s, he explained that Shaq could do that in today's game because in the 90s they are allowed to be more physical. When Wilt Chamberlain played, he could not post up, meaning he could not back down somebody. It was actually an offensive foul to do that because you couldn't push somebody out the way. They couldn't use their forearms. They couldn't use their hands. So when somebody caught the ball near the rim, they physically had to do a move or had to go around the defender to score. And if you go back and look at the footage, you'll see Russell holding his hands like this. Nobody was posting up. It was illegal to put your hands on players. It's actually one of the first 13 rules of basketball. Your hands are not allowed to touch another player. They changed that in 1976. Now, of course, it led to great players like Hakeem Olajuwon, Karl Malone, David Robinson, all these great post-up players that we all loved growing up because we are 80s guys. We grew up watching basketball from the 80s on. But that's where you get the aggression of people pushing and putting elbows and hitting each other because they allowed it. It was instituted in 1976. Before that, people were not elbowing each other or putting their hands on each other. That's what I'm trying to say.
All right, hello? So all right, let's move on from this heated topic. It got heated in there for a little bit. All right, so as you was talking about how like the defense changed over the years, so we have this quote from Sam Smith where he was saying and how Jordan didn't like the notion of a zone defense. He didn't, he played in his era and they didn't have zone defense. You had to come or you had to stay. So that allowed Jordan to work, one-on-one a lot of the times. That allowed Charles Barkley to back down people for 20 seconds. Like certain things were allowed to do in the 80s and 90s. Then if a zone came in, it would have, stopped a lot of that. We talked about this last show, how if a zone was in with the Bulls, how Jordan would have scored less. That's what we stated, how Jordan would have scored less if you're allowed to put, guarding with three people every possession. What I stated was Jordan would just have more assists because he had shooters all around him. He had Curry, he had Pax, he had shooters everywhere. He had the best shooting team in the league.
Yeah, and so they banned zones for that particular reason to have one-on-one offense. That's what they basically banned zone for.
Yeah, so I don't really, he would have scored less. I'm pretty sure he would have taken less shots because with the triangle offense, he had players wide open who could make the shots.
He probably would have averaged 27, 8 and 8 like LeBron. Who knows?
Yeah. I feel like while what you're saying is true, I'm almost positive that there's a loophole in there because even though that there wasn't quote unquote zone defenses that was legal, I mean, him, Jordan, Hakeem, and Karl Malone were like the three most double and triple team players. I mean, there might not have been quote unquote zone defenses, but I mean, I don't care who you are, shooting against 2 and 3 players, it ain't no more. It is more difficult than having to get around another body or two in a zone defense. And zone defense, really, those NBA players, man, they can break that shit down. Well, that's why that shit don't. That's why that shit don't work today. I don't even know why.
The reason it doesn't. The reason
everyone is shooting at the 3-point line because you can't really play a zone versus shooters.
Because another thing is that because this is the thing. You're correct. Hakeem, Jordan, and them were double teamed when they have the ball. You can double team somebody without the ball in a zone defense. So as an example, post up becomes no longer a factor. So if you don't have somebody. But that's saying if you don't have somebody who can shoot 3, right? How are you going to get the ball to Olajuwon in the post? Because you could put somebody in front of Olajuwon and behind Olajuwon. So how is Olajuwon even going to get the ball in the post?
Yeah, that's in theory, but Olajuwon always has shooters. Always.
No, but that's what I'm saying. You would have to create shooters that can really shoot and shoot off the dribble because what you can do is you can literally take a player off of let's say Otis Thorpe. Whoever Otis Thorpe's guarding, you could take him and put him in front of Olajuwon, and that's it. And Olajuwon can't get the ball in the post.
Yeah, so that's
the only,
a different. Yeah. Hey, I beg to differ on that one.
Me too.
All right, what?
On the simple fact they had zone in college. Olajuwon dominated college.
Yeah, but college don't have the skill that a professional has in an NBA. That's
they do what they want in the professionals, bro. How that sound? Huh? Come on, bro. Stop.
Wait a minute.
They're not high school players with the same.
Bro, how many college players make it to the NBA?
They have them. That's all we're saying. They have them. It's not about the numbers. We just telling you they have them. That's
no, I'm saying that they don't have the skill level. They don't have the skill level.
Man, stop that, man. Stop it. Stop, please.
Play zone.
Because you tripping.
What you mean I'm tripping?
Because if you can play college ball, bro, you can play in the NBA. Just gonna keep it real. You can.
Not everybody who plays college ball can make the NBA. Forget about actually being in the NBA.
You gave was Olajuwon.
That's factual. That's not me thinking of anything other than that.
Money to give all them people, bro. So you see a lot of players that used to be great in college and ain't make it to the NBA.
Exactly.
You see a lot of players like that. So they go to semi-pro leagues and stuff like that, or overseas and play ball, bro, or even in the Army. I met a lot of guys like that. So hey,
they're not in the NBA. Man. They're not in the NBA. It's just about a
chance, man. If it's for you, it's for you. If it's not, it's not. It's just that simple. It's nothing else to it.
Listen,
I'm sorry.
If a zone, it was so dominant defensively in the NBA, that's what they would use. They can't use it.
They can't use it now.
They can use it
now, but
you can get around it.
But the reason why you can't use it now is simply because of one reason, though. You can't use it now because there's no position.
There's no positions because of the zone. That's what I'm saying. The zone created the non-position NBA because you can no longer go to the post. You can't do that. Everybody has to shoot.
I don't want to argue. Bro,
you are trying to argue, bro. We're just trying to have a conversation, my man. You over here upset about something. We over here telling you that in the zone, you know this. You know this since you said you played and you did this.
I'm not one to.
All right.
Hold on. You're right, bro. I apologize. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not one to. I ain't really one for one of these shows. Because I'm too passionate about what I did and how good I was when I played the game, and I understand the game a lot better than a lot of people do. So I'm gonna go ahead and let y'all say that, and I'm just gonna gracefully ball out. I appreciate it though, bro. One love.
All right. First off, I'm gonna say this, man. This show is not about your subjectiveness. I'm gonna cut people off straight up. Listen, man. We are all grown men. We all watch basketball our whole life. This whole idea that somebody's smarter than the other and somebody knows more basketball than ever has to stop. It's not going to happen on my show. I have this show so that we can all talk basketball. I'm interested in other people's knowledge. I'm not in here to sit here and debate people about who played basketball longer, who was doing this, that, and the third. I was born 1981. I'm about to turn 41 this year. I've been watching basketball since 1989. I remember watching basketball since then. I don't like we all grown men. I'm not challenging nobody's intellect, but we just having a simple conversation about basketball. You understand what I'm trying to say? So all that other stuff is nonsense. We talking about what actually happens on the court. We're talking about NBA players. We're not talking about international players, semi-league players. You feel me? I understand players play college and there's college thing, but we're talking about professional NBA basketball. We're not talking about all that other extra stuff. And I don't want to challenge nobody's intellect. I just want to talk basketball. You feel me? So I think
my man need to hear that piece because woo, Jesus Christ. I was over here. I straight was about to be like, I'm gonna let y'all just go on ahead and let him do his thing.
We did let him speak. We let him speak. You know what I'm saying? So you got something to say, brother? Go ahead, man. Get in there.
I'm just listening. I'm listening right now. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean,
I ain't got no problem. I'm probably the elder statesman in this one.
Okay, but listen, you walked in a little bit too late in the show. I don't know if you heard the beginning of the show. We were talking about the rules and the different rule changes and how the rules, you know what I'm saying, how the rules apply to the league that we have right now as far as the way the game is played. You see what I'm saying? So we even talked about it in 1947. That was one of the first rules that they added was no defense. They banned zone defense.
Right.
Straight up. So they were and the reason they did it was to create one-on-one defense, and they wanted stars to shine because zone defense keep the one players. You got to play more team basketball when you playing against the zone defense. You feel me?
Right.
So they didn't want that. They wanted to attract more people. Baseball is big, football is big. We need to get big. So they said we're gonna create these rivalries. You know what I'm saying? With this one-on-one basketball. And that's what they created. And it's been that way till 2004. You feel me? That's when the NBA changed everything. So the basketball we used to seeing is different. It is different today than then. So
I agree with you. 100%.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So, but the idea of what's better or not is all subjective. We all love the game that I love all the games I watched yesterday. The same way I loved them in 1995. I mean, I don't see no, you know what I'm saying? I don't see no.
Well, I look at it like this. My point is that you grow, you like what you grew up watching.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, like me, I'm 53, and I grew up watching, a tougher brand of basketball. So, without a doubt, I'm gonna like what I saw. To the NBA, to me, right now, is a lot softer than what it was. Do I believe that it's better athletes? I believe it's better athletes all day. Me and Brandon, we all go on Facebook all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But I agree with him that it's better athletes It's better athletes. But is it more skill? I don't think it's more skill.
Nah.
No, I just don't. Come on, everybody taking it. It's like you playing playground basketball almost. Everybody taking threes.
Anybody here are on or have ties to the AAU circuit?
Nah. I know you
Not
said
really
you
a little bit.
No,
I know you
not
said you
currently.
did, right? You coach?
I just played it,
All right,
but
well,
not currently.
Well, the reason why I kind of agree with my man about the skill levels because those skills challenges and stuff that we was brought up on when we were playing basketball, it ain't the same.
No.
They don't. The drills aren't the same. What they focus on ain't the same. As a matter of fact, you know how they used to tell, oh no, the big man, no, y'all go down on the other end, y'all gonna work on post moves. Y'all
Right.
guards and threes go on the other end, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nah, everybody doing the same thing now. Everybody shooting threes, no one's in the post. Matter of fact, to be all the way honest with you, I was at the AAU practice and I was just observing, and there was no post players, no post moves, no post coaching, none of that.
Wow.
The way the game is coached is different. So I think a lot of what we see, I still love the game. I got to be all the way honest. I had to fall in love with the game again versus from how we grew up. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I got you.
There was a period. I want to say somewhere around when Kobe started declining, and then kind of like when Bron started, kind of like, okay, yeah, this is my league.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of I didn't have the same love for it as I did when I was younger, but like I had to relearn the players. Some of these guys, I don't even know where the fuck they come from.
Let me do it like this.
Because they're not playing college anymore. You remember, because we were groomed, we got familiar with a lot of the players
that play
watching college.
Yeah,
I used to love college.
That was a good thing.
Really watch it. I used to love college. I really want to watch it.
So now when we watch the NBA games, we got to fucking Google where the hell this player come from, because we don't know.
And even if they play college, it's usually 1 year and done.
Right. Think about it like this. Think about it like this. You got a lot of kids playing the game now.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like you said, they're one and done. They pretty much 18, 19 years old, coming straight into the game. They haven't even learned the game themselves.
Yeah, because back then you had grown men running the league.
Right.
That's the difference too.
They was pretty much your mentors.
Yeah.
Like for example, and this, once again, me and Brandon on Facebook, we beg to differ a lot. But I agree, LeBron is a top 5 all-time talent, easily.
Yeah.
But the thing that I think LeBron really missed was college basketball. Because he never really learned how to play the game.
I don't think he missed college basketball. This is what I think LeBron missed. I think as good as LeBron is, I think if he chose to allow, LeBron is the system wherever he goes.
Right. Exactly.
He doesn't play in a system.
Okay, let me say it like this then. Let me say it like this. He missed being coached.
That's what I'm saying.
From
that's what I'm saying. I think LeBron. as many times as LeBron went to the finals, if he would have like let someone else be like either the facilitator or the scorer,
Right.
man, he would have like 8 rings.
Yeah, exactly. And I could agree with you. But he's never been coached.
Okay, well, I'm not gonna say 8. I'm not gonna say 8, but I think
most of them.
I think bare minimum he would have 6 for sure.
I agree with about the 6, but he's never been coached, so it's hard for him to accept anything else. Because in high school, if I know probably everybody that played high school ball. Yeah. If you're the star, you are the star. Everybody listens to you, the coach included.
That's what we talked about that last week. We talked about that last week about LeBron. We talked about that, how his coach was probably like the Will Smith Fresh Prince coach. Just give the ball to LeBron and everybody get out the way. But I agree, because Brick, you said that the NBA got a little bit different for you, and it felt a little bit different after 2004, 2003 era. The mid 2000s, it started to change, and that's why we were saying about all the rule change because of the zone. What ended up happening was teams figured out like, oh shit, I can just like play further off of this man. I don't have to be a foot away or 2 foot from this man. I can play literally in the passing lane and the driving lane. So now those lanes that we're used to seeing those guards have in the 90s, they don't have those lanes anymore, because now you can just stand somebody right there around the, around the elbow. You know what I'm saying? Where now you didn't do that before, because like if you had a Rodman, you could just take Rodman and put Rodman in the corner, and whoever was sticking Rodman had to literally be right next to Rodman. So it changed the game, and what it did was it said, okay, if you're a big man, you no longer could just take the post up and do good moves by the rim. You actually have to physically be able to face the rim, shoot the ball, because you got to become a KG, a Dirk Nowitzki, a Tim Duncan. Because
but that's why the Supersonics and Magic were always dangerous, because they had big men that could shoot.
Yeah. And see, and we gonna transfer into your topic next, Brandon, because you guys are saying something about all the 3-point shooting, and I get it. The 3-point shooting sounds ridiculous from when we learned how to play basketball, but I'm gonna give you an example of why the 3-point shooting is what it is. If you can shoot 35% from the 3-point land as a team, or in general, as a player or as a team, it's as good as shooting 55% in general. And it's easier to find someone that can shoot 35% from 3-point land than it is to get somebody that can give you a 55% shooting percentage at the 2-point range. You understand? So it helps. It helps. That's the analytics. That's what they did. It was kind of like what Billy Beane did in baseball. If I can find a bunch of guys that can get on base, even though they don't know how to hit well, it's still the same thing as getting good hitters. So if
that's manufacturing runs. That's where speed comes in.
And that's what the 3-point has done. The 3-point is basically saying if I can shoot a minimum of 35%, that's as good as shooting 55% from the 2-point range. So I'm better off taking these threes, even though it looks sloppy, it looks crazy, but that's the reasoning behind it. You know what I'm saying?
But you know what the problem is with that? Everybody's taking them. Anybody's taking them.
Yeah.
Just for example, you have Ricky Henderson. When he get on base, he's gonna steal a base. Yeah. But then, they wouldn't put let's say Mark Grace. Mm-hmm. They wouldn't put him on base and tell him to steal a base. Everybody had a specialty. Yeah. And nowadays anybody can take the 3.
Yeah. That's why they're shooting it more now. That's why they're shooting more now. But bring it up, Brandon, so we can bring up the shooting percentages, because that's the good thing.
So I know a lot of people. Well, on our last show, they were saying how LeBron, all he do is just dunk. He can't do anything else. He has 2 moves. He's limited. He doesn't have much of his toolbox. So I just, just looked at some of the stats. So I'm pretty sure most people will understand that LeBron we're a better player than Kobe and Jordan at 37 than, their age. So that's not really a argument at the moment, but you can see how LeBron averaged more points, still take less shots than Jordan. His field goal percentage is a lot higher, 2-point percentage is higher, 3-point percentage is higher. 0 to 3 around the basket, everybody knows that's going to be higher on LeBron. 3 to 10 feet is higher. 10 to 16 was similar, 38 to 41 for Kobe and
Hey, Brandon, I gotta pause you real quick, because you know I'll be on you. Hey, you said that Bron shot more than Jordan, which which it wasn't that much of a difference, but I mean, 21.8.
Yeah,
21,
game.
Yeah,
22.
Yeah,
it's simple, but you know, I'm just saying with the
I
points,
round
with
it
the
off
points,
to 22 shots a game. That would be my
23 to 30. You know, that's a significant amount.
Yeah,
and 52% to 41. That's pretty significant. But I think most people understand LeBron at 37 was a better player than Jordan 38 after years off. So this is not really a big debate.
His numbers are better. I mean, I think he's in better physical shape too.
This is LeBron playing off the ball most of the game. So this is what LeBron, you know, could do if he played off the ball most of the game.
I think LeBron should have been playing off. If
you say you don't think he can,
I don't think he can play off the ball.
He should. You're right. I agree with y'all. He should play off the ball a lot more.
He should, but I don't think he can.
If LeBron let Russell run the show and he play off the ball,
at least
25% of the game.
Listen,
no, the Lakers when the Lakers be the same.
Listen, if Vogel would have told LeBron and Westbrook, listen, the person who gets the defensive rebound is the person that has the possession and runs that particular possession. That's it.
That works. I can see that.
They both would have had double digit rebounds. They both would have had double digit rebounds.
but really, Anthony Davis should be the cornerstone because allow him to drop you about 28 to 30.
But this is the most important piece.
Yeah, but this is a good thing that Brandon brought up as far as the statistics, as far as the shooting percentage, because this shows you, right? Because obviously at these points in times in their career, their athleticism was down and they couldn't get to the hole as much, right? So it's kind of like I was talking about the zone defense. This is where you fall in at. Where are you going to get your best shots at? Because you can't get to the rim as easy. You see what I'm saying? Where are you going to be able to shoot the ball at and get a good, efficient shot off? Because to get into the rim is difficult. You see what I'm trying to say? So when you look at this, right, Kobe's 28% shooting is probably better than that 41% shooting from 2-point land. If you really look at it, you know what I'm saying? If Kobe's hitting 3 out of every 10, you know what I'm saying, 3-pointers, you know what I'm saying? He's only making 4 out of every 10 2-pointers. He's making 9 points in his 3-point possessions compared to 8. You see what I'm saying? It's a little bit better. It's not that much better, but it's, you know what I'm saying?
This is Kobe completely out of his prime to his last season.
But that's my point. My point is that obviously if Kobe takes 10 3-pointers and he takes 10 2-pointers, he's going to score more points with his 3-pointers than he is with his 2-pointers. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. Like when you look at the percentages with the 3-pointers, if you can get a 3-point guy that can shoot around 30-35%, that's better than somebody that can give you 45% shooting from the field. You understand what I'm trying to say? Because of how hard it is to get to the rim. Because like you said, some of these guys aren't taught the skills on how to dribble and how to get to the rim like that. There's only certain players that can do that. So now they got to shoot those threes. They got to get that jumper. You have to be a shooter to actually even get on the floor nowadays. That's why the NBA is different.
All right, let me go ahead and move.
No.
He's like, nah, so don't like that.
No,
I'm with you, though. Trust me, I'm with you. I'll go ahead.
Because one of the most done athletic players probably in league history dominates this league.
Who?
Being the Joker.
Yeah, but Joker got a shot. You got to stick Joker
but Joker don't use that shot like that either.
But you got to stick him there. But you got to stick him there, and you got to stick his teammates too. You got to stick his teammates. Yeah, you got to respect his teammates.
Luka ain't athletic either.
Yeah,
but he dominates
the ball, and both of them are big guys. They're not little small guys.
But they're both huge. Very skilled. We forget very skilled.
Now I would say the Joker is extremely skilled.
And so is Luka. They're very skilled. Very skilled, man. Those guys can dribble.
I like watching them. I mean, just seeing them play because physically, when I see him, I'll be like, how the hell is he doing this? but he does it all the time. But
doesn't he remind you of Bird? So you watch 80s basketball. Doesn't he remind you of Bird? People used to say the same thing about Bird. Bird wasn't fast. He couldn't jump. No. He wasn't athletic.
But a lot of people when they talk about Bird, they forget Bird was like 6'10".
Yeah, he was 6'10".
Yeah, he was 6'10".
But he was a big boy.
But he could pass. His passing was. His movement, his footwork, his eye court vision. It does the same thing with the Joker. If you're defending the Joker, you got to worry about him shooting, dribbling past you, plus passing for an assist. You got to defend all that. You can't let him pass the ball for an assist. That's this
is the closest thing. People who never seen Bird, this is the closest thing that they ever seen.
Yeah, with Joker, definitely.
Yeah, Bird is rated high, but he's underrated to me. Like Bird was a lot better than
a lot of people
think
don't give him enough respect because
and they should.
He's an unathletic white dude.
Extremely athletic.
They don't realize how good that dude
list.
was.
He's top
they
5
don't realize how
list.
good he was. I put him above Magic. Ain't nobody do, but I put Bird above.
I got Magic before
I can't
him.
do that one.
But you know,
I got Magic before him. I couldn't do that. I can't do that either. I can't do that. Wherever you have Magic, though, you should have Bird.
All right, so
let's
Bird
was different. When I grew up, it was crazy because I chose Magic over Bird as a youngster only because he was black. That was it.
You weren't the only one.
I couldn't believe that white boy was killing.
You weren't the only one. You weren't the only one.
I could not believe that white boy was killing like that.
Hey, to be all the way honest, there's probably a lot of us that chose because of that.
Yeah. I mean, I ain't gonna lie. I didn't watch 80s basketball. For one, it wasn't on television as much. And I was a kid. I was really a kid then. I was born 81. So my first memories of basketball is the 89 Eastern Conference Finals, Jordan and the Pistons. That's what I remember fondly. And then from there on, I remember everything ever afterwards.
See, my first one was probably the tape delay. I want to say it was the Celtics against Houston.
In 83? No, 82? 81.
81.
81. Wow.
Robert Reed.
I was just being born. Damn.
Right. See, Robert Reed, them cats, I was watching them.
Yeah, but you was about like what, 12 years old?
Let me see, I was born in 68. Yeah, close.
Okay. And that was on tape delay. That was the finals.
It was tape delay. That was crazy.
Yeah. You already knew what happened.
For me, I thought Bird was always overrated. So I saw this like special on HBO about Bird and Magic. And I did not know Bird was that good.
Yeah.
Up until 86,
Bird was that great.
Up until 86, he was ahead of Magic. Yeah. He was ahead of Magic and everything.
Yeah.
They had the same amount of titles. He had more MVPs. He was like the face of the league up until 86. And that's when Magic won. I think the next two, which he surpassed them.
Yeah, he beat him.
Going,
but Bird said after 87, Bird said Magic's the best.
Yeah.
He did say that. He said, Magic beat him enough times for him to say it. Magic beat him in 85 and in 87 and in the championship in the college. So
I think that's another dynamic that we missed too in today's game. Like like Brandon and everybody, like y'all had your own team. Like you wanted to beat me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
but that's with the college though. That goes with playing each other in college, right? Because I see you in college. Now these guys don't do that. They meet at the draft party, and now they buddies. They making millions together.
Yeah, amazing thing is, everything is all about titles.
Or even if they play AAU, they play on each other's teams with each other. Sometimes they play on the same team together. You know what I'm saying?
I think the main thing is all about titles. You get criticized for not winning a title, and now players are doing whatever they can to win a title. It doesn't matter what's going on.
Yeah, definitely.
For making the finals.
And that's why we started this show.
Not winning.
And that's why we started this show, because people like Skip Bayless and Stephen A. Smith and Charles Barkley and them make basketball talk horrible because it's all about like that. Like they don't necessarily
win.
Yeah, they don't talk about the actual game itself. You know what I'm saying? What we're watching is very subjective. It's really and the game itself is subjective, right? Because we all like what we like. But you can still break it down. Help us understand what we're seeing on the basketball court. Don't just make it seem like it's nothing, because these guys are getting paid millions to play. Coaches are getting paid millions to coach. Scouts are getting paid millions to scout. You know what I'm saying? GMs are getting paid millions to pick rosters. So these guys are working every day to actually give us the things that we like to watch. So it's not like they just doing nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think a lot of that. Normally we all do anything we do it to be good at it or win. I mean, no matter what it is, if you love competition, your whole goal is to win. Of course, there are other dynamics. Of course, there's still the love of the game. You still have to be able to play the game. You still need a team around you as an individual. I don't care how good you are.
Yeah.
But essentially, that is what we play for. I mean, personally, don't give me no motherfucking second participation award. I don't want that. If I don't win, then I need to figure out what I need to do to come back and win the next year or the next time or next week, whatever the case is.
But it's a building stone. It's a building stone to know that you were right there. You just got to do something different, and you can get there. You can get right over
but
the
for
hump.
me, if I was an NBA player, I would hold myself to that standard. Like, damn, I ain't got no rings.
I don't know.
But you know what? Just my opinion. They'll rather jump ship than go to another team nowadays. Like back in the day, they would build a team.
Now, I don't have a problem with it when people fulfill the contract. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
I don't. But I'm saying that's the biggest difference.
That's a great thing LeBron did to allow players to spearhead the movement of players being able to go where the hell they want to go and get paid, because the contracts were terrible. I mean, obviously we know the whole fiasco with Pippen, and even Jordan had a terrible contract. He just stayed. That's all.
Not necessarily.
But that was the thing.
When Jordan got the contract, Jordan wasn't Jordan yet.
Yeah, but see, this is the thing though too. This is
another thing. Still, he was the best player in the league. They could have renegotiated if they wanted to.
I didn't bring up
different times.
I didn't bring up those contract rules and those CBA the different CBAs that's happened throughout the history. But in 76, free agency was allowed in the NBA. But it still didn't take effect because, like I was saying, teams could sign players for 8 years, 9 years. I believe Magic had like a 25-year contract.
25-year deal.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, but I believe what happened though in the mid-90s, they did a collective bargaining agreement that limit teams on how long they can hold the player for.
It was 7 years, right?
Yeah, no, well, before that, because Pippen signed the 7-year deal in 91.
Going into 7 and went to 5 or 6,
but
something like that.
I think it was like 94, 95. They had another collective bargaining agreement, and that's why they went into a lockout in 99, because the league didn't like what was going on. So it was getting too hectic for them. So they created a lockout, and the NBA wanted to have more rules on the money and obviously contracts. And that's
I don't count that Spurs championship either.
But because you remember, because what was happening was players like Iverson was coming in the league and getting so much money, and players that were old wasn't getting no money. So they wanted to change. They wanted to change some of those contracts, because that's what happened after. I believe it was 94, 95 summer.
Yeah, somewhere around it. Right. It was right after Pippen signed this contract.
Exactly.
Right after.
Yeah, but before that, a team could sign you for 10 years. So being a free agent didn't matter, because I had you on the contract your whole prime. You know, and then there were other rules in the 90s that restricted players from leaving, or not necessarily restricted them. It gave them more incentives to stay where they were drafted. They had the bird rights, things like that they added to help players, because, you know, they weren't making money. So now the 90s come around, they could start making money. Players ain't going to leave. If I leave Utah, if I'm alone, I'm not going to make as much money as if I stay in Utah. So I might as well stay. You know what I'm saying? So
KG had a big contract too.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. That was after that collective bargaining agreement, and that's when they allowed the high school players too, because before that you couldn't come in from high school. You had to play 1 year or 2 years in college. So they allowed. I believe it was 94, 95. No, because
that's when Kobe came in.
Moses came in.
Yeah, but that was the ABA. It wasn't because what's his name? Hayward Spencer sued the league. He sued the league, and the ABA allowed it. The ABA said, okay, we'll let you in, because they were competing with the NBA, and they allowed high school players. So they drafted Moses Malone, and that's where the high school, that was back then. But the NBA always had a rule till 95.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? That's when you get Kevin Garnett, and then that's from there you get Kobe, and then you get the international players, because that's another thing we forget, man. They didn't have international players in the 80s, man. And, you know, what's his name? Petrovic, Vlade Divac, they were like the first ones.
Yeah, and Sabonis.
Yeah, and Sabonis, and they were all, and Sabonis was old, because the real
he was in his 30s already.
Yeah, exactly. So they, you know, the NBA, like you said, they went global, and they used Jordan to go global, the Dream Team, all that to go global. You know, they got Dirk Nowitzki, Nash now. You know, they started getting players from everywhere. I was telling my boys this: the NBA is actually the only professional league that actually have like NBA camps in every continent in the world.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah, if you go look at it, we already know the NFL don't. The NFL just got like Mexico, Canada, and like Europe. Baseball, they don't. Baseball goes to Asia, but like baseball isn't in Australia. Baseball ain't in Africa. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They're in South America. They're in the Caribbean. But the NBA is in every continent, in the North America, South America, Africa, Europe, Asia, Australia. They get players from everywhere. The NBA is serious.
All right, y'all. Let's get back on track.
My bad, Brandon.
All right, no problem. All right, so what I was discussing was what we tried to debate last week about how LeBron only shoot layups. So this is at age 35. Kobe's at 34 because he was hurt when he was 35. So as you can see, the field goal percentage, 3-point percentage, 0 to 3, 3 to 10, and then when it gets to 10 to 6 and 16 to 3-pointers, you can see where Kobe excels at in 10 to 6, 16.
Yeah, mid-range.
His mid-range was actually higher than his field goal percentage. So, and then Jordan at 16 to the 3-point line was basically his field goal percentage.
And LeBron's still bricking.
So, this is another instance of how people say Jordan never missed, but, he wasn't as high as people think he was. All right, so this one is just them in the playoffs. Their age.
The last finals, right? This is their last finals of seasons.
Yeah, their last NBA finals. So as you can see, how LeBron, they didn't have that data for the finals, but you can see how Jordan in his finals, he averaged more than everybody, but he took a lot more shots. His field goal percentage was 42, Kobe's 40, LeBron 59. LeBron 3-point percentage is higher. Struggling in free throws, of course, but as you can see, like their shooting percentage, is so low, so inefficient compared to LeBron's, but you can always say the style of play, but still, that's 42% from the field goal range, and 40% is kind of low for a star. And then if you look at throughout the playoffs, LeBron's 80, almost 80% compared. Jordan was high at 67 at the rim. Kobe's 55. 3 to 10. LeBron still over 50. Kobe's 52. 10 to 16. LeBron was at 68. So that's I don't know how he was that high. And
hey, Brandon, can I say something?
Yeah.
I heard you mention that Jordan takes a lot of shots, right?
Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay, but what other choice did he really, really have? Your second best player averages 16.
He didn't average 16.
Scotty did average 16 in the last playoffs.
The last playoffs? Oh, maybe the last playoffs, but throughout,
the last three playoffs, I think it was 16, the 96, 16, 97, 19, 98, 16.
Yeah, but wasn't Scotty?
But the reason I say that,
the
reason I say that is because LeBron always had a second player that averaged 23 and up.
But so let me ask you this.
Not all the time.
But hold on, wait. Let me ask you this though. If Jordan's taking 25 shots and Pippen's taking 15, well, if Jordan take 5 left shots and give that to Scotty, wouldn't Scotty average 20-something points per game too?
Do they win?
Maybe. Yeah, of course. It's the same.
We can't do maybes though. We can't do maybes.
No, I say yes. They still win, of course.
I don't think so.
Because Scottie Pippen can get you that extra 5, 6, 7 points.
I don't think so because I don't think so because Pippen, as good as he was at what he did, he never made me feel, or no one that I know feel like this motherfucker can take this game over. Never, ever. Never. That just wasn't, and there's nothing wrong with that. That just wasn't his game.
But he's took over plenty of games for Chicago before. I don't know why y'all say that.
Yes, he did.
What?
I wouldn't say he took over plenty of games.
Every player has done something. Jordan is not a 3-point shooter, but I mean, hell, he hit 6 straight threes in the finals. Does that make him a great 3-point shooter? No, it doesn't. Has Pippen ever took over a game? Of course. Has he scored 40 points? Of course. I think they both scored 40 points in the game before. So we're not saying that they don't have the ability to do it at some point in their career, but they don't have the ability to consistently do it night in and night out.
He's not as great as Michael Jordan.
Yeah, he's not a better scorer than Jordan, but
yeah, of course not.
That's just not his lane. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with it.
But can y'all say though?
But I'm not going to give him
shooter though.
What up?
I'm not going to give him 5 extra shots though. No.
Wait, Pippen taking 20 shots a game?
No.
He averaged 19 for the finals. For the 6 finals he was in with Jordan, he averaged 19 points per game in those finals.
The majority of those points came in the first 3 finals.
Pippen had a year and a half to himself to show us all, the NBA, the world. And that's just not his game. That's all.
He averaged 22. He averaged 22, 8, and 7.
Okay, but you're talking about taking games over. I'm not saying 22 points is bad. That's obviously good. But I'm saying,
and 55 wins. He had 55 wins compared to 57 the year before, and in the year after that, he lost Grant, so he didn't have Grant to really help him out like he did in the year in '94.
I mean, again, listen, that's negligible.
Jordan is the greatest scorer. He's top 3 greatest scorer ever. We get it. We never gonna say Pippen's anywhere near that. We wouldn't even go there. But to say that Pippen couldn't do the roles that Dwayne Wade and Kyrie Irving did is a little bit too far.
What roles did they play?
That's what I'm saying, because all the roles that they played was being a scorer for LeBron, because they didn't do what Pippen did for Jordan, which is guard the best player on the other side of the court, be the one that passes the ball and rebound. He's like all Dwayne Wade and Kyrie Irving had to do was score. They didn't have to do nothing else. LeBron did everything else.
That's the role. And look, listen.
That's what I'm saying. But Pippen played his role because his role wasn't to score. So
but I hear you.
So in that same breath, so you know how people say, okay, LeBron is the best all around player, but that's just what he does on his teams. When Jordan was asked to be a point guard, I mean, he was averaging 33, 10, and 9 or some shit like that.
Losing.
What, in 11 games?
Because he didn't have
Okay, they were losing, but aren't the Lakers losing?
Nah, I'm not gonna say losing. I'm saying that's an 11-game sample. Can Jordan? No, can Jordan do that for 12 years?
It don't matter.
Now, wait a minute. We
not talking about losing,
can't give LeBron.
Can we do it for long? Because 11 games is not that long. You're counting 11 games. Like 11 games is what Jordan did.
No. Those 11 games are the ones that he went the 10 straight triple doubles. I ain't talking about that. This was over a period of 20-something games. In the
97?
No.
93? 92?
No, this is 80s. This is 80s.
Yeah, this is the 80s when, but anyways.
But yeah, this was over a period of 24 games.
I'm not talking
about what was that, 86?
Huh?
It was like,
what was it, 86?
Maybe 87.
Something
no, because 86 he was hurt 86.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
It had to be 85 or 87.
It wasn't 85, but yeah, but anyway, it was 24 games. He played point guard, and then y'all know the numbers, so I ain't got it.
No, granted, Jordan is a great player. He could pass the ball, he can shoot.
If he chose to, but he chose to play his role as being a scorer.
Okay.
All right. Anyways, let me get back to that point that you guys made about LeBron didn't make the playoffs in year 19, and since he played, we gonna use that. Like no one used year 14 and 15 for Jordan and say this is what Jordan is. LeBron is nowhere near in his prime now. He's not the same player he used to be. So we can't really take year 19 and say, oh, he couldn't do this. He couldn't guard everybody. Who in year 19 could guard everybody?
Well. Okay, LeBron in year 19 is better physically than Jordan was in year, I'm going to say year 13. I mean, he was definitely physically in better shape. Well, I'm not going to say better shape, but he was physically more healthy than Jordan was.
I mean, he's a freak of nature. He's a freak of nature in general.
But still,
both of them are freak of natures.
LeBron in his prime. When he was with
he's not in his prime, but being physically healthy is still going to put him better than 90% of the league.
That's because he's that good. But still, that's not what LeBron is at the moment in his career.
Yeah. But let me ask y'all this, Brick.
I'm not making no excuses for LeBron, man. He's too great of a player, and he wouldn't accept no excuses. There's no way that I can sit here and be like, yeah, because in year 19. Now in year 19, no, we don't have any high expectations. Of course not. But I mean, the numbers that he put up, you're telling me he's good enough to put up 30, what was it, 6 and 8 or whatever the case is?
Yeah.
If you're telling me he's good enough to do that, but not good enough to win, I don't understand. Because he's playing 40 plus minutes. That means he has the physical ability to guard if he chose to. He's pacing himself.
Yeah, but the careers but the years that Jordan had the best statistical numbers, he didn't win nothing neither. He couldn't win really neither in those years. He was under 500 most of those times.
Yeah, I think
Jordan didn't have that team either.
His team
exactly.
totally different team.
But LeBron actually had a team this year that he should have been able to win.
No, he only played 21 games with AD and Russell Westbrook. That's all. That's the amount of games he played with Russell Westbrook. That's all the time.
With a lot of 10-day contract guys and
with a losing record though.
Yeah, of course. Don't get it wrong. They lost, but at 37 years old, you don't really put that all on LeBron or anybody at that age.
I'm not saying putting it. I'm not saying put it on LeBron because it's not LeBron's fault that Russell can't is building houses and condos and shit with bricks.
It's not his fault. He got vocal as a coach who doesn't even know how to use Westbrook. That's another thing too. We all talked about that, man. You got to have coaching. Coaching is very, very important.
To me, Westbrook is responsible for himself. You can't blame the coach by how Westbrook is playing. The coach is not making Westbrook go up and down the floor, turning the ball over, shooting air balls, shooting the top of the rim. Russell Westbrook is doing that.
That's your self-discipline.
He didn't play as bad as
I'm gonna tell you what it is. Westbrook don't have the green light to just be like, hey, do you, Russ? Because he has to worry about giving LeBron the ball. So,
he's playing off rhythm. He's not playing in his rhythm. Yeah, he's not playing in his rhythm. And that's a coach's job to get you in your rhythm. Hey, Big Twan, go ahead, brother. Get in. I can see you.
What's good, man? My apologies, fellas, for being late.
Oh, my bad. Let me shut the fuck up. I'm put myself on mute.
No, go ahead, Big Twan. Go ahead, brother. Get in.
I said my apologies, brother, for being late, man. I had a little technical difficulties, man. But how y'all brothers doing today?
We good. We good.
We good, man. How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I know I missed a bulk of it, man, but my 2 cents, man. From what I read from the comment section with the debate about Jordan, hands down the GOAT. LeBron and Kobe, they kind of neck and neck to me. But to piggyback off something somebody said earlier in one of the comments when I was reading. I don't see how can people even consider putting LeBron or Kobe over Mike. So Mike is the blueprint. Mike is the bridge from old school to new school now. If you really look back at all the footage of Michael Jordan, Michael Jordan did all the moves he knew he was doing now in the 80s. The step back, some of the crossovers, the stop and go, hey, no lie, I even saw the brother do a Euro step in a couple games, you know what I mean, before they even had the name for it, you know what I mean? He's the ultimate basketball player. Kobe, LeBron, both built off that. They did their own remix, but no way in hell, I don't see it, especially people of our age, that's 35 and up, 40 and up. There's no way possible LeBron is the GOAT. That's my spill on the fellas, man. I know I'm late, but that's what I gotta say about it.
All right. Well, let me say this. I want to ask a question to y'all three brothers because I wanted to know this about LeBron shooting because we were talking about the field goal percentages and stuff like that. What do y'all think? Because we were talking about skills, right? The AAU, what they teach you guys in basketball, a lot of the stuff that they learn now is not being taught like it was back in the days. Do you think there's a skill issue with why LeBron can't shoot free throws as well, or is it just all mental?
Free throws is all mental, man. It's as good of a. Okay. Listen, I'm about to use this word that we don't use with LeBron, but as good of a scorer as LeBron is, he shoots threes. Somehow, seem like in my head, watching him, he shoots threes better than he shoots free throws. Like I have more confidence in him.
He does.
Like, but. Okay, but that's one thing about the end of the games, because I don't think he trusts himself on the free throw line. Honestly,
yeah, I believe free throws is more. I think free throws is probably the only mental part of the game out of anything else when it comes to basketball. I think free throws really mental.
Do any of y'all play golf?
No.
Okay,
I'm horrible.
Okay, well, golf is just you, that fucking little ball, and that hole. I mean, you only playing it. I mean, of course, you got other variables, but really, you fighting yourself all day long.
It's all mental.
And your swing is never the same twice. And
so it's not like a rhythm thing.
But it's all mental, really. It's mental. It's extremely mental. Free throws are mental.
I always felt like free throws was a rhythm.
Technique.
Right. And see, it's something LeBron lacked. A real good technique.
Now, you know what? LeBron's free throw is ugly because he kind of leans to the left.
Yeah,
like he leans to line his right shoulder up with the rim or something. I don't know, but it looks ugly.
Well, you know, I saw a YouTube video, not to bring up something crazy, but I saw a YouTube video that talked about LeBron's physique in general makes it hard for him to have the right posture to shoot a free throw, because they were using how his shoulders and his lats are real big. So he doesn't have, like, see, when you look at Jordan and Kobe, especially when you look at him in these pictures here, you can see Jordan's shoulders and his lats are not that big. Like LeBron is kind of broad, so it's hard for him to get a good, like, you know, they were saying like it was hard, like he shoots like people like Dwight Howard and like Blake Griffin. They were talking about muscular players, and the only example that they used that was good was Malone. They were saying Malone was really one of the only players that was as muscular as he was, or with that kind of physique that could actually shoot a free throw well. But they were saying most players with LeBron's physique don't have the ability to do that.
It's pretty simple why LeBron's not a good free throw shooter. It's technique.
That's what I'm saying. But that's a part of the technique, though. They were saying he can't get the technique because of his body.
I ain't gonna say it's because of his body, though.
Shot was like that was his technique. How he used to shoot. It was kind of sideways. He had.
Well, look at Larry Johnson. Y'all remember Larry Johnson?
He's a free throw shooter.
Yeah, he was a good free throw shooter. He was. Like I said, it was a YouTube video now. It wasn't like this is the Lord of Lords, but it was. I thought it was interesting when he broke it down, when he was explaining the physique of a player like LeBron and how difficult. Because, you know, I'm slim, right? I'm 6'4". I've always been tall, slim. So my shooting form was very easy for me because I didn't have like broad shoulders. You know what I'm saying? It was very easy for me to get my elbow and my everything straight with my hand and my wrist. You know, they're saying that when you have that broad physique on the top, it's hard to get all that, you know, like to bring in that elbow like this. You know, Dwight Howard can't do this.
And I hear you. And the reason I say his technique, because I don't know how many of y'all actually watch him when he take threes. He got to get his feet set. And it's hard for him to get his feet set sometimes.
It is.
You know, it is technique. It is. So it's a little of mental and skill.
Like
it's mental skill.
Reggie Miller shoots a different style of ball. So he has that touch. LeBron shoots different, but he doesn't have that touch. So it's
hard to have that touch being that strong.
Both of them.
Being that muscular.
Like Steph Curry, he has a beautiful form. So and he has touch, and it's easy for him to make free throws. LeBron form is not good. He changed it every single year. He has 50 different forms. His technique has never been good in free throws.
That's true. He's never developed a good one. He never developed one that was good for him.
He never has since he started playing basketball.
Like for instance, with his technique, when he comes up court, he brings the ball up court himself and take a three. He take it in rhythm. But if he, let's say, coming off out of a play, his footwork is horrible. Then, you know, like they pass the ball to him, he got terrible footwork.
Yeah, LeBron's a little goofy. He's a little goofy. I would say that. I'd say that. But you know, it's you know it's weird though that he does really shoot well from all the other sides, but he can't really shoot free throws at a consistent. It's just that is just a weird thing. I've never understood that, because usually when the older you get, the more you play, the better you get at stuff like that. And he just seems
go back to being a coach.
You know, it just goes
coach
back
will make
to
you shoot the free throws.
If like LeBron is playing and he's getting hot, he's going to have a 40-point game because his touch is there. You know, he's in rhythm. Like he's gonna, when he's not making shots, he's going to go to the rim every time. So if you watch LeBron play, you could see that he only makes shots a certain amount of games because he's hot. And when he's not hot, he'll take a few shots and he knows he's off. He'll start being more of a passer. And when people be saying like he didn't do this, he didn't do that, because throughout the game, LeBron was not making his shots, and he knew that he wasn't going to set himself in that position to make those shots. So that's how LeBron game goes.
LeBron knows he's not going to take 25 shots a game, so he knows he got to get his players in rhythm. He has to get everybody on the court with him. So he plays with the pace of the game, and that sometimes that comes back to haunt you. Like people say, you got to take the game over. This is where these are the moments you're supposed to have. But he's had those moments too. So but LeBron definitely plays the game different than Kobe and Jordan. But to bring up Big Twan, I wanted to bring up what you said about Jordan being the first to do all that stuff. To be honest with you, before Jordan, there was Dr. J and there was Elgin. The only difference is that
go down fast.
The only difference is that Elgin and Dr. J weren't guards. Jordan was actually the first guard to do all that acrobatic stuff and getting at the rim and dunking and all that flashy stuff that really took the NBA to other heights. And like you said, that became the platform, or the what you said you call it was the protocol for what we see in the NBA today with all the guard play and all the athleticism and all the dunking. But I can tell you what, man, when I go play basketball right now, it be nothing but all the jits that shoot, they do is shoot 3-pointers, man. Nobody wants to dunk no more. Everybody wants to sit behind the 3-point line and shoot. That's all I see when I go play basketball today. That's all I see. I'm
small as a smaller player. That's all I wanted to do. Like I'm only 5'11", but I had hops. So like when I played, I used to on purpose never like in a layup line. I never really get up and jump on purpose, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like in the games against especially the big dudes, when you had the opportunity to get up and put one on them, all day long. But then back then, they'd knock you on your ass after a while, though. So that's the only thing. But to bring up what you said about Jordan being a guard, if we think about it. The debates that we have and the conversation, he's the only guard against the pantheon of big players.
No, that's true. No, I give you that. Listen, Jordan was under 200 pounds. He was 6'6". If we go to Dr. J, I think Dr. J was 6'7", 6'8", 220.
6'6".
What's it called though? Elgin was 6'7", 6'8", 220.
No, actually, Elgin Baylor was 6'5".
Oh yeah, that's true. You're right. He was, but he still played power forward, but he was still big as far as size. He was like 215, 220, I believe.
Yeah,
we never talk about Baylor, and he had good numbers, man.
Great numbers.
Listen, man, I got Baylor top 5 Laker. I know a lot of people get upset with me. I actually have him better than Kobe as far as Lakers, but I don't want to go through that. But listen, man, Elgin was a beast, bro. Elgin was a beast, bro. He was a beast of all beasts. But he was one of the first high flyers, because before him, it was like you said, it was all a big man's game, because the NBA didn't have flagrant fouls. You can just foul somebody however you wanted to. So if you were small, you stayed in the perimeter. Stay out there and dribble and pass the ball. This is where the big men play at. You don't come in here. Jordan was the only one that was like, you know what, I'm gonna keep coming in here. And they were like, well, you keep coming, we gonna hit you. Go to the free throw line and make your 2 free throws and let's keep playing. And that's what it was. Then when they added the flagrant fouls in 91, fouling like that became a liability. Now you foul somebody like that, they shoot the 2 free throws and get the ball.
And get the ball.
Yeah, and get the ball. So now you couldn't foul nobody. So now the guards who are more athletic, the big man can't do shit. Because like you said, I don't give a damn if you're a big man. If you can't push me and hurt me, I'm going to dunk over you. You see what I'm saying? And that's what started happening. And you started getting players like, like Penny and all the guards that came in the 90s, man, that were really athletic. Grant Hill and Kobe and Iverson.
Grant Hill was one of my favorite players just to watch, man. Like,
he's like business.
He gets brought up every week on this show, right, Brandon? Somehow Grant Hill gets brought up every week on this show.
I hate to. I hate to do this, but like, okay, so LeBron is LeBron, but I mean, what if Grant Hill had that same 19-year career? Healthy though. He
would be in the GOAT conversation.
Did you guys know that Grant Hill was healthy most of the 90s? Everybody know that he was healthy most of the 90s.
He made 4 All NBAs too.
Yeah, did y'all know he never made it out the first round with the Pistons?
He got hurt though. Wasn't it 99? He got hurt though. That was the year he got hurt. Was 99?
Yeah,
right? Or was it 98?
Most of the 90s he was healthy. I was surprised to even know that he never made it out the first round.
But he had Lindsey Hunter.
Yeah, but the Pistons weren't good, and I'm from Detroit. I live in Detroit, so
they had Dumars.
But still, come on, not one time.
Yeah.
Okay, let me ask you all this then. Since y'all speaking on Grant Hill, was Grant Hill better than Lil Penny?
Nope.
And Penny?
Lil Penny.
Point, man.
Before injuries, right? We talking about before injuries, right?
Yeah.
In my opinion. Yeah.
I take Grant Hill. I take
Penny any day.
I take Penny.
Yeah.
I seen what Penny did to the Bulls.
Penny was unbelievable.
Penny did to the Bulls.
Penny was Penny had the skills, man. Penny's dribble skills. That was, and he could shoot. He could definitely shoot better than Grant Hill. He could shoot.
He could. Took his game from was Penny.
Let me say this. I'm a Jordan fanatic, right?
Well, yeah, hold on.
I'm a Jordan fanatic. And the reason I say Penny, that was the only play I seen put fear in Mike and Scotty Hart.
Okay. Go ahead, Big Twan. Go ahead, Big Twan.
I was asking who played better defense between the two?
Grant Hill. That's why I would say that. That's what I'm saying, because I'm a defensive guy. I love defense, man. I like guys that get on the grind on the defensive side of the court. And Grant Hill had that part. I would give it to Grant Hill just because of that. Because offensively, you know, Penny was the better scorer. Penny could pass well. Penny could get the offense going. So can Grant Hill. But Penny was the better scorer. But defensively, I think Grant Hill was better defensively. Obviously, because of size. So Grant Hill was, you know, a nice size, very athletic.
Size. But you know, every time they play together, Penny outplayed Grant Hill because Penny was just, you know, the quicker player up and down the floor better, quicker.
Yeah.
He was. Penny was
nice.
Penny was a problem. Penny was a problem, man.
Yeah, man. But hey, listen, brothers, I hate to let y'all go, but my Heat are playing, so I got to catch my Heat. I hope Trae Young ain't kicking our ass yet. So y'all boys be great. I appreciate the conversation. Hopefully we see y'all boys again, man. Appreciate y'all boys.
All right, be smooth.
All right, y'all. So hopefully we could do this again next week. So I hopefully you could get on at 11, I think.
Yeah.
This time. Hopefully you can. Yeah. So, well, actually, I didn't even go through all the slides that I had here. I have two more slides. So let's look at those two before we head off. So this is their second from last final. So I was just comparing their numbers and everything from the finals and everything. Yeah. So as you can see, this is when LeBron was 33, Jordan was 34, and Kobe was 30. So throughout the playoffs, this was when LeBron didn't have Kyrie or Wade or anybody. His points was higher than both of them. Field goal percentage higher than both of them. 2-point percentage, 3-point percentage. Kobe was actually higher at 35. 0-3 at the rim was LeBron. 3-10 was Jordan. You know, 10-16 was similar across the board almost. Kobe was 45, and then we got the 3-point 16 to the 3-point line was 46. So LeBron shot similar to like both of them actually. So surprisingly, he was similar to them. And in the finals, you know, these two won the finals. LeBron got swept, but as you can see, LeBron was better all around. And that's about all I got, fellas. So hopefully we could do this again next week.
Yeah, I'm gonna have my notes next week. I'm gonna have everything that I want to have this time.
All right, yeah, we actually couldn't, you know, go in. Hold up. All right, we actually couldn't go in with the LeBron and Jordan and Kobe this time, but I'm gonna try to have some time next week for it since you brought that up. So we haven't really been going back and forth about who is better. You know, I just been comparing numbers because, you know, it's opinion. You know, whoever you like is better. So it's not like saying, oh, LeBron's better because I like LeBron better. So I like to put up the numbers and stuff. So you like brought some stuff. So I'm gonna, you know, go back into the vault, get some numbers so I can show you more of both of them. All right, there.
All right, cool.
All right, there. So yeah, I'll see you next week at 11 your time, right?
Yeah, cool. Man, I appreciate you inviting me too, man.
All right, no problem. All right, see you.
All right, bet.
All right.